Welcome everyone. Welcome to the 337th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, July 16th, 2020. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today. And of course, we are joined with Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, and he will be presenting today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to go for today?
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers workshops. And I hope we can learn more. And in the process of learning more, we share more. And maybe become a point, a breakthrough for someone somewhere. In one of the teachings, I was present, and I said to the knowledge seekers, saying, we've done everything. We've been there to teach and serve. And I said, that's all we can do, because those people who you thought they're just nothing, they were there as knowledge seekers. Now, through their teaching, what you thought, they have saved many lives through Corona. It's not that we put money into the foundation or we back the foundation with different things. All the teachings, all the little courses you do, or whatever you go around and teach people, that's serving. We all serve in different ways. And mankind at this moment of time needs more serving than actually needs anything else. In so many ways, we see second round of Corona hitting much harder, and the lives taken by this virus has become more or less impossible to stop by the present world of medicine. We hear Los Angeles has gone in the second shot now. We hear Australia has closed some of their cities again back to Europe. Some nations have gone back under mask and again restrictions. And everybody was hoping that when the summer comes, the heat will take the flu away. And we warned from the beginning, this virus has a characteristic of African flu, and it'll go worse in the summer. And we have seen we are correct. One of the biggest problems with this Corona is the new elevations and the new problems which has caused. It's so frightening that it puts shivers on my back, even the knowledge I have how to control this, what we call dragon. The new versions, new animations, new what we call mutation of this virus is extremely frightening. Cannot be kept out and cannot be hidden. But again, as Keshe Foundation has always warned in advance, and we see it appropriate till the government decides to release the totality of the report. In this report, I have stated categorically that we have seen through Corona, fathers killing their daughters, their brothers, their sisters. People are committing crime in a state that the mind is not ready. These people have to be excused, as is not a murder, but the course of action of an illness which no one has control. If we carry on and ignoring this, many of us will be imprisoned for what things we have never had a clue about, as Corona has created a condition of short circuit in the emotional physicality of the man. The international law and the governmental law, and in so many ways, the direction of criminality has to be ready to put aside any crimes on the basis of Corona, as people have no control. We have seen this in Iran, we have seen this in China, and what I call the law enforcement has to stand firm in no crime is done. And if can be proven that the crime is due to Corona, not by default, by fact, there should be no crime. It's not that you're a state you're at the state of not knowing what to do, or you're doing, is in fact what has short-circuited in the brain. We are not giving carte blanche for people who do crime, but man has to be correct in conduct and put everything correct from the beginning. We see other factors which is coming forth through Corona. We are holding back till we discuss this with international governments and away from criminal organizations like Gates. We have seen new elevations. We have seen new, what we call deviation, but with a side effect which is absolutely criminal. I ask and request for the arrest of Gates and his team internationally. This request will be put among the nations which we collaborate with, because this is a genocide. What we see, we cannot even talk about. People close to me, as the head of the foundation, are aware of it, but it is painful even to think about it. Some of the Keshe Foundation teams are working in the background to get results. It was expected. But if this, what we see in the masses which are appearing, mankind is heading for doomsday. The reality is, we are working on it. New procedures has been put in position. Doctors are adopting it and going ahead with applying it. And when we see the results, we have to report back. I wish one thing: Gates would have never been born. That blood has to be stopped. Not by anything else, but by elevation of the soul. The pain will last mankind, if mankind lasts that long, generations to come, if generations can be there to come. For this reason, as we were aware of things happening in the background, we override a new fundamental system to override Corona and match Corona, as we say, step by step. Today, I release a new structure for a third cup. This is a cup of soul. And its effect needs to be there to overcome, to be able to carry man through this time. To what effect you will be using it is very much in the hand of how you see as those who are affected. The cup of soul has a direction and a dimension into operating through the soul of the man, through the soul of physicality, to the physical body of the man. We had to introduce this, as we see no other way. We see no other, what I call, option left to mankind, except moving to the level that the Corona works. And in that process, handle it with care, with gentleness, and at the same time making sure man does not become insane. We elevate the soul of the man to become the defender of his own physicality. And in so many ways, many sorrows will be created if we do not stop this. What is important to understand is it interfered with our structure in the energy level, and it locked itself to our physicality. We started with physicality and we went for the structure of physicality. Now we handle it with his own soul, with his own energy. And this is a breakthrough through the science. Never been taught. And in so many ways, we have to teach. I have no option. As the Iranian community say, you have taken all the hopes from us. But in fact, we gave you the chance and the hope to survive. In so many ways, we open a door to a new science, but something you knew, but you never done. And it has to be done in that way. And it has to be done in the dimension of the soul of the man to understand the elevation of the soul, which can understand the elevation of the soul of physicality and the physicality of the man in all dimensions of the existence, from emotion to its energy level. Many of you who've been around the foundation, you are fully aware the way I work. Simplicity of teaching is the key to understanding. And simplicity of understanding is to, in fact, comprehend. The new cup is from the comprehension of the structure of the man. There is a small problem which I have to tell you. You hear me snuffling and coughing a lot. I have a very bad cold, and you always have been with me, good and bad. Today is a very bad one. What I want you to do is listen very carefully. This is cup number 3, the cup of soul. What you need to do, very simple. Do nano-coated. Oh, I better bring it down. Then I can't connect you. You have 3 nano-coated wires. All 3 of zinc. You connect all 3 together. With this, you connect to the second cup or the first cup. In all 3 cases. You see, when you don't get it right there, you have to do it differently. In the first cup and the second cup, you have nano-coated copper. Then you have and you have the zinc, and you have your nano-coated and copper of their own. You connect all 3 nano lines together. And as before, you connect the others which are not nano-coated together. The gases produced in this part will be an energy level of the soul of the man. Now you connect with cup 1, which carries the soul of physicality to the soul of the man. And with cup 2, you connect to the physicality of the man. Where I make it very clear that you all know what it is. Zn nano. Zn nano. This is copper. This is copper nano. This is your Cu and Cu. And this is your Cu. And this is your zinc. With this new cup, the cup of soul, you match the energy levels of the corona on the strength of the emotion of the man that does not allow the conversion. Can you hear me? In this process?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. In this process, we create energy at the strength of the field of the physicality of the man. This line up and run the 3. Run a cup of man, which can't never take gases from it, but produce the 3 cups in separate.
Mr. Keshe, you're breaking up.
On whatever you make.
Mr. Keshe, could you repeat that last sentence, please? It was kind of breaking up there.
Yes. I've just got to change the provider. In this process, you always use Zn from what I call cup 3. What we call cup 3, whatever you collect from it. Do not look for matter state in cup 3 as such. You're used to seeing physicality, but if you get physical GANs, there's no problem. If you get what we call energy GANs, you just take from the bottom. This area you collect from. Do not forget, the process of connection is as before. You never change the process, which means, to make it very clear for you, this way. These 2 connect. This one comes here, and a turn line connects the 2. But when you connect to the cup number 2, you connect as a totality. Or to cup 1. So in that process, from now on, you always use cup 3, at least 20% of your mixtures, 20 to 40%. And then the other 2. For this, you rub on your head, on the body, with a hand. You make a mixture in a bottle, in a bowl, and you take it with your hands and you wash your face You wash your body, you wash your every organ. You have to understand, the soul of the man exists in every cell of the man. In so many ways, you elevate the soul. The soul looks after the physicality. And in that process, then you add cup 1 and cup 2, depending on where is, where you connect the soul to the physical dimension of that position. There is no other way to battle these things this way. You can put it in a space and spray it around. You can put it in the bowls and leave it around the house. But you have to be careful. You have to be careful. The elevation of the soul is cornerstones of the existence. And you have to understand what that means. 2 a spiral and 1 flat. If you have a piece of zinc, cut it in 3 strips. Twist 2 and leave 1 flat. And spiral the 2. This is the new entry for you. There's a new way to learn. And with this process, we have, as I said, we have no choice. All have to be nano-coated. All have to be understood the way it's processed. Try to stay your salinity at around about 10 to 15%. Now, we are not looking for the physical GANs. We are looking for the energy of the GANs. In some of the cases, you might see that one of the coils will vibrate. It oscillates. There's no problem. You might see new colors of ganses as the soul manifests itself in a new dimension of physicality. If you want to make the soul of physicality, you follow the same. You take 3 nano-coated copper. With this soul of physicality, you release a lot of pain, suffering. But it will be in the local, in that dimension. With a cup of soul, is the soul of the man which overloads the soul of physicality and the physicality of the man. Don't forget, zinc is around 65 and copper around 60, 62. In these ways, we give the man a chance. A chance to be able to encapsulate Corona. By weakness in the strength, forces the energies of Corona to interact direct. And as you have seen, we will see the further development. In these cups, always look for energy. And the energy, the right energy, is sitting somewhere just under the center, somewhere here. This will bring you a lot of new understanding. You will feel the condition of the existence, and in so many ways becomes a magic. You can use it on your animals, you can use it on your loved ones, you can use it on the trees and plants. Many of you will hear the noise, many of you will hear the soul. Many of you will understand the operation between the physicality and the soul. You will see rapid development. You will see eradication of many diseases. You will see painless life. And you feel the love of the Creator. We have taken man today to new understanding of the new levels in the height of understanding the creation. We take man from the dimension of physicality to the dimension of his soul, his strength, his beauty, and his effort. Last week I told you, I'd teach you something new. And the head of Keshe Foundation reminded me enough time, don't forget you made a promise, you have to make it. I fulfill my promise. From now on, man will look into a new dimension in elevation of the soul of the man, directly by the man himself, if it's correct in conduct. And at the same time, through the understanding of this new process, maybe mankind will elevate himself to new dimensions. In so many ways, if you understand this, you'll come to a new point. And if you could translate this to a new understanding, this is book number 9. And if you understood the totality, I'll move you to book number 1 in the universal order of the soul, the creation of the soul in the dimensions of the universe. Because when you die, and physicality in the dimension of soul leaves the dimension of physicality, enters this point. Now we need to take you through this process to understand the Creator. In a way, we have given you a handout to move from the dimension of the soul of the man to the dimension of the soul of the universal community. This is where the transition comes. This is where the beauty comes. This is where we fulfill our promise. The day of judgment. The elevation of the soul of the man through understanding of the operation of his own soul. I am the Creator. In the dimension of physicality of the man. In that process, For the first time, we welcome you to USL community. We close the door on the soul of the man, and we open the door to the soul of the universal community, where the physical existence is not an option. And through the same process, will take you to understand the soul of your creator, how he was created, where he came from, and how he has become the creator of all. I promised when the glory of the technology appears, one shall not be there. And in that process, mankind will understand in totality what it means to fulfill the promise of the past thousands of years. The day of judgment is not the day where you stand. The day of judgment is when you can transit and go through transformation of the soul of the man to the soul of universal community, which creates the line of ascent to the creator. And this is a gift. It's such a beautiful day with a new love, with new care, with new understanding of the creation. I always said, when I'm fulfilled with the love of the creation, I create. In so many ways I understand this, because in a coming time you will understand more about the process of the creation, and you need this as a basis of understanding of the totality. As we always said, we come to taste the beauty of this planet, to feel the love in the dimension of physicality, that with it we can elevate man to the dimension of the love of the Creator. And as we have fulfilled in all dimensions, it's time to elevate the man. In so many ways, in the coming days and weeks, you will see the beginning of new changes. As we have elevated, and as you start using these technology in a true essence of his knowledge, and not the fear of demise of the man. But, as I always said, understand the process of the creation. Understand the love of the Creator, and you'll find a path to him. Try to understand the way mankind will proceed from now on will be in one way and one way only, through the soul of the man. And then if man would like to see life in the dimension of physicality, it's his choice. Be it at birth, be it in giving life, being in transition from one dimension to another. The process of teaching, in elevation of the soul of the man completes itself today. Now the process is not to elevate the soul, to overcome the physicality for it to survive longer. As with the teaching of today, there shall be no death. The dimension of physical death is in the hand of the man himself. This is the secret of life, everlasting life. Many of you make it by the desire to have that, and many of you will fail. That desire is not in truth to serve humanity, but for the ego of the man. The completion of the closure of the past was completed this morning, early hours of this morning. And with it came the release of totality this morning. We close the door to the past and we open the door to the future for the humanity to understand the elevation of its soul. Nothing in my cycle is coincident. And nothing in this cycle will come by chance. When mankind finds the true love, mankind is elevated to the dimension of the soul of the Creator. We came here to find and we found. We came here to elevate and we have elevated. Now is for you to decide in what dimension you want to exist. There should be no fear of Corona if you have managed to crown your head with the soul of the man, the true existence, the true essence of creation. When I'm given love, I shower love back on humanity. And you are washed away today, if you understand. There is a point with, while you understand this, while you start seeing the result of this, while you start seeing changes that you could not imagine, then we start the process. You got to understand, whatever is created is below what we have created. We know how to handle it. From cronies to Corona does not make any difference. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And as usual, I remind the attendees they can put their hands up in order to be recognized to turn your microphone on. Don't see any questions directly on teaching yet, except for, well, actually there are a couple of questions in the Q&A. Let's just start with the first one. Mr. Keshe, when you refer to 3/21/21, you talk as you're running against time. Is this a limit date, and why? Thank you.
21/21, which is March 21st, is the beginning of spring, the beginning of life. A new life will start on that day, as we promised. A new life for mankind, a new life for understanding of totality, and in so many ways, in next few months, mankind will mature so fast that we pass everything mankind has known for millions of years together to his knowledge. It'll be the beginning of new understanding. As I said before, around that time, I'll move away from the Keshe Foundation and go back into teaching and research direct. Development and delivery of new technologies that releases pain and suffering on this planet and beyond. As the new head of Keshe Foundation, in the past 4 years she's been battling to get it right. Now she has to battle it to have it right. The two heads of the foundation, the most beautiful women, which are here with us, it becomes their responsibility to create balance in both directions, as yin and yang, as we call it. One is responsible for the soul of the man, and one is responsible for the soul of physicality of the man. And together they bring a new balance, a new beginning. The two inseparable apart. In so many ways, 21st of March is a beginning in understanding the universal, what we call communities, conditions and entrance. And in a way we cannot take you, as I said before, to town and just leave you alone. We have to show you where you live, how to walk, where are the pleasure parts to be, and how to enjoy the new existence. You have a little bit of time to adapt. But don't forget, the whole humanity will adapt. And all creation and created. In so many ways, as of today, we elevate the soul of all those who breathe on this planet. Be it the fish, be it the lion, be it the man. As you make these cups of salt, as the structure of the all being on this planet connected, you will create the true dome of peace. As in the dimension of energy, like you saw with Corona, will spread across this planet in no time. As I said, they tested us, we matched them and beyond. We are the masters. As this disease has spread across the continents, and one thing which you do not know, and have referred to it in the past, you humans occupy the surface of this planet. This virus even touched those above. Innocent. And we could not stand it anymore. With this new process, we encircle the whole planet. As life on this planet in every shape and form is dependent on the amino acid. In this process, with a new teaching and what to come, will take you through the threshold of entering universal community as the soul of the planet. The soul of the child. That child is the human race. Yes, 21st of March has a huge significance. Next few months, we rush you through as much as possible. We carry as many as possible. We will see the end of the kingship. We will see the end of what we call enforced societies. We will see the time of transition where what mayhem we saw in some nations will become part of the structure of the change, permanent change for humanity. On behalf of the Iranian government and His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, we put out the hand of peace to the American administration today. Defy us, we will wipe you out through your soul. Not a bullet, we enter into your creation. By the request of Iranian government, we put a hand of peace to all the nations as of today. The instructions are clear, and through this process and the teaching of today, we start the process of world peace, equality of all races, and one nation. Because now we have the tools, we show the tools, and you will do it, not us. In the corridors of power, there is a lot of dilemma. What are we going to do? We have lost everything. My response to Rothschild family, in the direct contact with Keshe Foundation, in wanting for us to meet with their masters, the response is yes. We meet with you on one condition: total disarmament of Rothschild operation. Everything has to be equal, and the highest priest of Rothschild family have one choice: abide and work through us. Those who brought you will and will not be able to operate anymore. Your Grand Masters have no grandeur. In your direct contact with the Keshe Foundation and your request to meet, the Keshe Foundation management will meet you in Austria or Germany. Go through our channels and we meet with you at our ground, our terms. Any other question?
We have several hands up here. I think Azar can go first, and Gachwa. Just a second, allowed to speak. There you go. Hello, Azar. I'm not hearing your voice. I see your microphone is open.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Mr. Keshe, when you make the third cup, the zinc, and you gave the protocol, is this when somebody gets the corona, or you can just do it for prevention? That's the first question. The second question is, we drink from the cup 1, can we drink from the zinc cup? And the third question is, when you make the physicality cup with copper, do you connect it anywhere? You just have it isolated as one and you just connect the 3 copper?
You can drink from 3 cups and you'll find out that you don't look for the dimension of physicality. Cup number 2 and 3 and 1 connected the same as is in the process of the past and the present, which he adds. You have to understand the 3, or cup number 3, you get 1 line connected to that from all 3 when you have connected on the central common line. When you have the line from here and the line from here connected, then you have a line from here to here, and you put a 3rd line to connect. Your line of connection comes from here to your other cup.
Mr. Keshe, with the zinc cup, when we
it's not a zinc cup; it's a cup number. It's a cup of soul.
Cup of soul.
Yeah.
When you want to drink from it, because there is no GANs, so you cannot wash
you
it.
You might produce some GANs. Listen, don't go into the dimension of physicality. Just do as we said. Make it first. See it first. Then.
My last question is this, and there are a few cases in New York that I've seen. There are children, 12 years old, 14 years old, 13 years old, and these kids, these children, they had tested and they had antibodies, but never had any symptoms. One case I know is a 12-year-old, and for 2 days he just had some sore throat and nothing else, and then he just shows antibodies. My question is, what is the situation with these kids? What is the future of the kids who go through this process and show antibodies, but there's no severe condition? Does this mean they're immune to the corona and they're completely safe in the future, or they're going to develop some sort of cancer or anything else with it?
What we see, corona is dividing itself to different sections. 0 or pre-birth to about 7 to 10. We see about 9 to 14, 15. We see teenagers to adults. We see adults to around the age of 50, 55, and the rest. They all, most of them, can get common denominator 1. But each one we see now separate effects according to theirs. And we understand most of it, how it happens. In the age of 7 to up to age of 7 pre-birth, they get a corona, 37-degree temperature to 42, coma deaths. We see a lot of this at the moment. The new protocol procedure for this has been issued. In this age bracket, because the body is going through a transition from the process of puberty, we see the body as it's going through the change, it adapts very quickly to corona. This showed us that corona has emotional side effects into the dimension of physicality and gets confused. We don't see that much death in this bracket. We see heart attacks and stroke and brain hemorrhage in this group. We see heart attacks and pre-cancer condition in this group. And this group is vulnerable to death very rapidly, over age of 65. The pattern of corona is very clear for us sitting in the background and looking at hundreds of thousands of people reporting. You got to realize where I sit and connected to many chat rooms which are handling corona, we see symptoms coming up. You are part of one group. I see 20 odd groups. We see which nation is catching up. We see which nation is falling behind. We see new patterns coming up. And these children up to 7 to 10, they sometimes show the sign and they become immune to it. And sometimes they fast, die very quickly. At the moment we see in this group, from home to hospital, they die. So the emergency unit is going to be equipped at the point of arrival that transportation does not take place.
So, Mr. Keshe, the teenagers, so at the moment they're most immune to this corona.
They are not immune. They are not immune. You're using wrong terminology. They are going through a process of transition of growth and active cells. And that active cell chews up the energy of the corona. The same active cell, after around 20, 25, 30, gives you a heart attack and death. In the process of teenagers, what we call puberty section, as the body is behaving totally different energy-wise, corona gets mixed up. At the same time, doesn't show any symptoms. At the moment, today, we do not see any symptoms. Most of the coronas, the ones who talk about the lung and the rest, is now something between 5 to 10% of the population. The other 90-95% show no symptoms whatsoever. No fever, nothing. One of my biggest concern is that this age group will never produce children. And we see the same here. I didn't want to explain this, but now we see it in 6, 7 countries. Has to be known. We see men with no active sperm.
Mr. Keshe, there was a news report from Canada today that the majority of the coronavirus, the new infections are in the under 40 years of age group, which is completely reversed as to what it was before, where it was mostly over the age of 80 or 85 was the majority.
I'm going to repeat, clearly understood. We see infertility with the sperms, with no life, which means those who are affected will never reproduce. This is the crime Gates has done. Now you understand. We request from all the governments to do a sperm test and egg test on all those who have been affected between 3 to 6 months after infection. This is a birth control. And we have seen it in 6 nations for past 6 weeks. Loss of libido, and at the same time, 0 sperm count. We have never seen this before. Those who are affected, first was reported in Iran, first was reported from China. We kept a look on it. We kept it very close. And now we can report it. No interest in reproduction. And men and women with zero live egg and sperm. Just a robot. Birth control through the back door. I will take revenge on Gates and his blood. It's the first time we disclose this, and it's becoming a pain in the whole structure of the work. We reported multiple menstruations. Now we're seeing fatality. And tests from number of countries we asked to be done in past 6 weeks. I did not want to disclose this, but I had to because it'll become a big factor in the life of people. And this is the prime reason I released couple number 3 today. Most of men who are affected by corona will never reproduce. The same will be with women. We have given new procedures to be adopted by a number of countries and doctors, and the only solution we see is the use of COP3. The fertility is 100%, which means not even a single sperm is alive. Men become infertile. Same with women. The only way to fight this using COP3, what we call cup of souls, either cup of souls, cup of soul of the physicality or a cup of soul of the man. You elevate this position. Try to make love as much as you can to keep it at the height that it can be defected and can be defeated. If you have a partner, stay with him close and take him through cup 1 and 2. And then take him through the cup of soul. Soul of the man or the soul of physicality. This will bring a lot of problems, especially for men or the women who think their partners has lost interest in them. And it will bring new social structure problem. It's not that your partner is not interested in you. It's not that your partner has an affair. The truth is the corona has killed everything through the emotion and the physicality. Erection for men become non-existent. We have to be open because this is the truth, and you have to understand where you stand as a human race. It's the responsibility of the partners to understand the situation and follow the procedures we set up. Stand with your partners who come out of this disease. First we saw this, then will come the cancer. use as much bath as you can to get rid of the possibility of the cancer. Take the bath in cup number soul or solar physicality. Do not let your partners down because you have let yourself down. As I said, in these teachings we have to teach the truth, that there is nothing hidden. That it doesn't cause social problem in the house, with the children, with the family. Yes, your husband or your wife has a mistress called Corona. Has taken everything. The true man stands next to the true partner. And you walk it through, elevate the soul, use the cups, the way we say. And we support you through this. The Keshe Foundation research doctors are testing the new methods to be able to overcome this. This is not a joke. Thousands, tens of thousands are infected, have become in past few weeks. We have medical data. Try to support each other emotionally. Try to support each other physically till we get through this problem. Not all is lost, but in so many ways, Keshe Foundation is heading this right through the storm. We'll find a solution. We have found the solution, but we have to wait for the data to come back. Number of research are going around the Keshe Foundations to get the data to understand correctly how to fit it. The only thing we need to understand that the social structure does not get damaged. This thing appeared about 8-9 weeks ago in China and then in Iran. When women started reporting to us problems, multiple menstruation, which means lack of existence, multiple menstruation wanting to produce before the last comes. Then we saw reports of men complaining of libido, loss of libido. And then we saw doctors start testing about 4 weeks ago around the world with zero sperm life. In a way, with calcification of the essence of creation in the egg and the sperm, everything has solidified and died. It has no energy to produce. As I said many times, we are here together to change it, or you will find out you will take it by everything that this will bring on us. It's the responsibility as a social structure to understand this.
Mr. Keshe, the physical cup and the copper cup stands by itself alone, yes?
What do you mean?
You just connected three copper, the two coils and one flat one. They stand by itself. You don't connect it to anything else.
You decide.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
Perhaps Gatua can ask his question.
Where is
Much,
yes, Dr. Gatu, can you wait, please? Where is Stanley, please, on the panelist? Is he fallen out?
I still see him as host here. And
Yeah.
Ella, I don't see a second Stanley.
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. I don't see as panelist. We need to understand a lot more about this. We wanted to hold it back to the time when we are ready, but as I teach and we get reports coming, we need to address this, and we need to understand the totality of the process. This is crucial, and this will bring a massive social structure damage to humanity. If a large number of people get affected by this, the population of nations will drop quite naturally. When you see 3 million in the United States affected, there'll be 3 million incompetent men. Those who cannot produce if they're all male. And this is what was one of our main concerns. We didn't have fear about it. We ran a test in Ghana in a very effective way. And when we heard this, that was developing, our team of doctors are using the technology developed in Ghana to overcome this. We are waiting for results. But for sure, you will see this problem across the planet. The rise in this, especially on a teenage gap, was one of our main concerns at the age of puberty. Doctors need to do a test on these, what I call adult being, to see what is their sperm count and what is their egg count. And this becomes a social problem which will hit humanity very hard. The reason for it is when your partner is not there and you look for satisfaction, you commit a crime, you do a sin. And that has to be stopped. Our responsibility is to create a condition that man cannot do wrong by the choice of his own. This will create a lot of problems structurally. Especially in the young adults who are hoping, looking forward to become fathers and mothers, and it's not there. Partners who suddenly have a husband but not a man. With men who have a wife, but just a cook in the kitchen and a cleaner. And if you were lucky, you already had one child. This is going to become one of the biggest problems, more than the corona, for the human race. I mean, we need to run into this trap, out of this trap, and get it sorted as fast as possible. Our team of doctors in different countries are trying and testing in the past week, 10 days, the process. To see if we can regenerate the sperm, we can regenerate everything else, and see how far it can go. Dr. Katwa, what's your question, please? Hello? Have we lost Dr. Katwa?
No, we just had to allow him to speak there. It's a little glitch. Go ahead, Gatwa.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, Dr. Katwa.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you very much for your enlightening teachings, for your bringing peace to the world, global peace, that is. And I welcome the cup of soul and the new way to the future. Now I have a question. The question is the zinc plates available to us, especially here in Kenya, is from the carbon zinc battery. When we cut that into 3 pieces, do we actually have enough? Is that long enough to spiral, to make it into a spiral?
You
And
can, whatever, you got to live with what you have. We say an old saying, when there's not a mother, you have to live with mother, stepmother.
And I accept that. So how do I make a spiral of that very
Just
short?
twist it. Just twist it as much as you can.
Many times, not just once.
No,
Okay.
just twist it.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a number of questions in the Q&A, but I'll continue with people that are live here first.
You want to go on the Q&A? Let's see what's on the Q&A.
Okay. Okay, right from the top, Skywalker asks, can we use rainwater?
You can use anything.
Okay. Here's a second question. Can you explain black nitrogen N2 phosphorus?
What?
I don't know what that is. Black nitrogen N2
Okay,
phosphorus.
just go to the next one, please.
Okay. From Elias, if we use a battery for the third cup, the negative should be connected to the nano-coated wires. Is this correct?
Yes, always do.
Okay. James asks, with cup 3, do we make plasma water and use that?
See what you get first. Test it. You never tested it. Test it. See what you get first.
Mm-hmm. And he asked, do we continue with the prevention protocol with cup 1 and 2?
Yes, you cannot stop.
Okay. Joseph asks, and others as well, any hints for the coating process of the cup 3 zinc? Only chemical, pure sodium hydroxide?
Doesn't matter how
potassium?
pure sodium carbohydrate. Yeah.
Sodium hydroxide, yeah.
Yeah.
NaOH.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever you choose, whatever you're comfortable with, as long as you create a light coating.
Would a fire coating work on that?
Depends how good you're at it. But you want it to set on fire, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be tricky. Okay, well, people can report their progress on that. Can we use the nano-coated zinc from former cups where the zinc coated in the cup one, for example?
I don't know. Depends. Did you nano coat it? Or was it just because change color you thought it's coated?
Mm-hmm. Okay, James asks, how far apart should the three cups be?
Try, depends how far is your head from your heart.
And Liliana asks, with the cups, can you reverse the infertility?
The infertility at the moment is done through a different process. We check. Does any of you have that problem? Any of you has been hit with corona and can be open enough to tell us?
Well, we have some hands up here, but they were, I think, previous to that question. So if you have any new ones come up, we can have an answer to that perhaps. Shall we carry on? We have a few more questions here. From Liliana, this is a question from a colleague named Beatrice. Hello, good night. I have a question. I have the man's cup and now it shows another, but the man's cup has been with me for 3 months. But I feel something change inside me. It's like the decisions are made by my part of the soul, but it is a kind of with the physical part. I don't know why. I'm not sure what we can do with that, but it didn't quite make sense to me. Maybe it made sense to you, Mr. Keshe.
Yeah, I don't know.
The point is they felt something change inside them, the way the decisions are made by their part of the soul.
Yes, we have this report from many people. Partners see the change. Partners see partners understand. And in so many ways, people who observe you, they see the change.
Okay. Saeed in the Q&A asks, recently scientists by simulation of the solar system have come up with the condition that the 9th planet has to be there somewhere outside the solar system in order for the solar system to be stable. Do you agree with that discovery?
We put a pass on it.
Okay. From Liliana, a community question in Spanish. This last cup must be separated some distance from the man's cup.
Pardon?
This last cup must be separated some distance from the man's
We just
cup.
answered. We just answered that one.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Do only humans reproduce in this way, or do other beings in the universe multiply by division?
Elevate your soul and enter the new dimension, and you answer your question.
Okay. Professor Twister asks, hello, what do we do with corona cancer patients with red spots or wounds? How could we help them?
The process is in the protocol, which has been released. You need to, you have to understand that the corona, let's say if this is whatever part of your body, has created a calcification, usually in the twin set. When you put a gas, number 1 and number 2 mixture, because he has a soul and whatever, you bring a new fields in. But this has become solid, solidifies. That's why you see that wound. The wound, the redness you see is like putting a salt on a wound. It has created a calcium in between the layers of the skin, and this calcium is literally, by moving, damaging the cells around it. So what you see as a redness. So your main problem is this solid calcium, which has become a grain of salt in between the 3 layers of the skin. Usually is in the, to be correct, is in the middle layer. So you see the redness on the top. What you need to do is to open this. This needs to be opened, to be taken out of the matter state. And for that reason, you need to have number 1 plus cup number 2. If you want to add cup of the soul, soul of physicality, and magnesium. You can add it, as one of our knowledge seekers is good at it, into a cream and allow it to be over the wound. This will open up the calcium into back to energy, and you'll have a few days you see the redness because of the wound is already there, but you've taken the seed of this salt out of the, what we call, layers of the skin. The best thing is to use a cream to keep it there, natural cream, normal cream. But the secret to it is the magnesium. But you have nerve system, you need to use cup 1 because skin is part of your emotion, a part of the brain. You need to have cup 2 because this effect of the muscles underneath have a direct effect on its creation. And at the same time, you handle it through the soul, both in cups. So you need to add magnesium to open it up, and the redness takes 2 or 3 days, will go away, and you will not have the cancer cells on afterwards. We just 1 second, please. And this is how you handle it. And you always see these as two together. And that's how you can handle it. But we don't recommend oil at the moment to be used across the body, because the energy will be kept in through the oil structure, where through evaporation the energy dissipates. With the oil you cannot. Just if you have the red spot on the skin, you open it up and it disappears. So you'll see the change within the first 24 hours. We have many pictures and many reports of this. The faster you get rid of the spots, the less possibility to have cancer in the future. Because if it stays within the end of the cycle of 28 days by accident, then you have a bigger problem in your second cycle. I think our team has something to put on, and we'll come back to it. Thank you very much for your time. And in so many ways, we have to understand that new changes will bring a lot of positive moves. I'm sure we'll find solutions for all these problems in one way or another. But we have to head for the space technology as fast as possible. That by achieving the space travel through the soul or through the dimension of physicality, mankind will find a new dimension in life that they can survive. Mankind has to find peace. Mankind has to find and close the door of animosities. Otherwise, it'll doom itself to non-existence. It's very hard for people to put their past aside and look into a brighter future. And as I explained to the Iranian officials, and I voiced it out again for everybody to understand, there is a huge problem with my operation in Iran and the Iranian officials in the Ministry of Health, as we have received talks of they want to take major shareholding in Keshe Foundation or shareholding in Keshe Foundation in Iran to control. Now the technology has proven to be correct, or will be threatened, or ransom has been requested. Keshe Foundation under no circumstances will lend to these kind of pressures. We stay loyal to Iranian government and to the Iranian nation, and any pressure by any minister, be it Minister of the Health, people, the front lines, as his cronies, our answer is one. Keshe Foundation is an international organization, not an Iranian-dominated position by those in the Ministry of Health who have kept the papers away from signing till they get a share in the foundation. This is the responsibility of the Iranian leadership to see through and correct very rapidly. People are dying in Iran and around Iran and outside due to a ransom we have received or attempt to take ransom from us. Keshe Foundation has never paid, will never pay ransom. It's the responsibility of Ayatollah Khamenei to see this through and clean it and clarify it. We only deal with the office of leadership and the Iran National Defense University for a spread development and acknowledgement of the technology. We will release the name of those in the government who have pressurized or trying to pressurize in partnership the Keshe Foundation of Iran, that they will sign the paper, that it will become that every man in Iran can use it. We release telephone numbers and communications. And if this carries on, we'll go open international with their name. The Iranian Keshe Foundation is servant to the Iranian nation and beyond. As I explained to our people, we have even thrown the hand of peace to the state of Israel. As we see, no permanent peace unless the 52nd state of United States as the state of Israel is part of the peace negotiation with Iran. Understanding that over 25% of the Israeli nation are of the Iranian blood. At the same time, as we know, the financiers of present financier of Israel is the state of Saudi Arabia. They are invited on the table of discussion. As I said, it's very hard for the Iranian leadership to accept a peace talk with Israel. It's a bitter pill we have to swallow to find peace. And I think the Iranian leadership has to accept peace worth swallowing of a bitter pill, but at the same time sharing the knowledge internationally will give us a permanent peace. In the Keshe Foundation team, with the White House, Trump has directly refused to negotiate with the MT Keshe. And our response is very simple. You will not be in that office much, sir. Our wish is our command. We back Kamala Harris as the Vice President of the United States to be the first Black American woman as the President of the United States. We hope the presidential candidate will choose her, as we put a lot of trust in her. Any other option as female, mixed color, is welcome by the Keshe Foundation too. We prefer the position as a Vice President of the United States, as a First Lady, to become the President of the United States, to be Ms. Harris. And if Ms. Harris accepted by the nomination, we back. We deal directly with governments through the operation of peace. And at this moment, America needs a mixed presidential candidate to bring some sort of sanity and control. It will be the first time we see such a move, and it will be the first time that we see a hope of peace in the United States. We'll negotiate for the rest through our ways and our own channels. But Iran cannot negotiate with the United States without agreement on the state of Israel. We decide the future of the state of Israel through Iran, through negotiation with the United States as part of the peace negotiation. Permanent peace has to come through this way. Every time we negotiated separate, they cause problem from inside. This time, we respect the existence of the state of Israel as a common Palestinian ground and not as a Jewish ground. We consider Jews as Palestinian back home. We need to change this, as this has become the corner point for wars and conflict and spread of more problems. It's very hard for the Iranian leadership to accept my point of view, but we have no choice, as I explained to them. Having a state which is ignored does not solve the problem. Having a state as part of the solution is the only problem and only solution. My message to the American administration as you're online is very simple. You deal with us immediately, or we deal with those who will become the new residents of the White House. From Tuesday, we put pressure on the White House for resignation of the Trump if peace talks and acceptance of the technology to eradicate corona from the United States is not on agenda. We put every pressure to internationally know that the president is sitting on the solution and out of prejudice has refused to save his nation. We are not an option. We are a must. And the same goes to the officers of the Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran and the religious leaders of Iran. As is in Quran, and as we say, peace. That's the first word we say. And that has to become the flag bearing of the Islamic nations for peace, and especially Iran. We understand the pain, we understand the animosities, but at some point the leaders have to draw a line. Not to be for the next generation might achieve it. It's our responsibility to be this generation to see it. President Trump, you have till Tuesday of next week. Then you have to respond to your nation. Why you are withholding one of the most advanced technologies to save your people, and in tens of thousands a day are getting infected and will die. Is a son-in-law worth more than your nation? That's the biggest question. As the White House Chief of Staff has said, we can't even speak to Trump about Keshe. He goes crazy whenever his name is mentioned. Mr. Trump, your minutes. Talk with me. Talk with Keshe Foundation. Talk with the Iranian government. We allow you to bring the Palestinians and Israelis on the table of discussion. All has to be solved in one solution. We give you the knowledge on the process of Corona as we already sitting in the White House. We expect peace, a permanent peace. We close our eyes to the most of the past. We open our eyes to a brighter new future. We contact your head of administration in next week, and if the response is the same, we make sure those who are going to bring the change in different color of skin as a new administration work with us. We work with them before in 5+1, and we feel comfortable to deal with decent and honest people. I thank the Office of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran and His Eminence for supporting the peace, and the new, what we call, message will come from Keshe Foundation, will bear the flag of peace from Iranian leadership. We are committed to peace, and with the help of those who understand our way, will achieve peace. Many of you are asking why the report is not done. I explained. We are on the point of extortion by the Iranian health minister, and we will not relent. You can wait a little bit more till this matter is sorted in Iran through the government and the Office of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran. We have received the extortion demand in a direct and indirect way, that the paper will be published, our health documents will be signed, if we give part of the Keshe Foundation to these thugs who sit and run the government of Ayatollah Rouhani of Iran. Now you know why there is a delay. The article is ready, accepted. the minister and his cronies want the ransom and share of the Keshe Foundation. This will not happen. The Keshe Foundation, as I said to the King of Belgium, is the same, belongs to humanity, not to the crony kings and not to the minister who's there for a few weeks. You threaten us, we open your books in the Ministry of Health of Iran. I have a piece of advice for you, Ayatollah Rouhani. Change your 3 key mafia in the Ministry of Health, or we change it for you. Humanity cannot wait. Move your thugs out of the Ministry of Health that the Iranian nation can survive. Any other question?
We had Lisa McDonald with her hand up here. Perhaps we could hear from her.
Please.
Hi, Mr. Keshe.
Hi, beautiful Lisa. How are you, darling?
Good, and you? I just
Are you locked down or you're not locked down yet?
we're not in lockdown. We're not in the area they've shut back down again. But unfortunately, I just need to say that we're in a smallish country town, and what's happening is the satellite, the tiny little towns around, by having the first lockdown, basically it's decimated the towns. Just traveling around in the last little while, most of the businesses have had to shutter their doors, and they just will never come back. And so those towns are now dead. So it's quite sad to see the life going out of places at a very rapid rate. Besides all the sickness, it's just economically a horror story, really.
Wish you all the best.
The reason I put my hand up was not actually to ask a question. It was more to answer Gatua and his zinc wire coil. What we found, and I thought maybe a lot of people might find interesting and be able to source some zinc wire quite easily, is that all people who make things like car trailers use wire when they do certain welding, the zinc wire, and you can often source zinc wire from people who do those kind of jobs in your industrial areas, even if it's a small piece, or the people who actually provide them with the wire in big rolls. So I thought maybe for a lot of people that might be a good tip.
Thank you very much. How is the state of Australia now with this corona? How does it feel?
I don't know, because we're very insulated where we are, but they didn't take it seriously. They really almost got it under control, but the politicians have really bungled everything. The original lockdowns and how they organized the quarantines and stuff like that was very badly handled. And so it's now gotten out of control again. And I don't think the Australian population understand the consequences of how serious this actually is at this point.
Can you imagine half of all these Australian macho on the beaches of Sydney and other parts find out that they're not much macho and they can't do much?
Yeah, that might be quite a bit of a problem. But yeah, a lot of them still think it's a hoax, which is, and it's only affecting old people, which is, it's very difficult to change the mindset. And even the old people, it's quite strange. I get very frustrated because in our town, we have a lot of retirees. And even during the lockdown, they were running around like nobody's business. And I kept on thinking, you know, we staying at home to try and save you, and you think you've had your life, so you don't care to run around. So it's been quite strange.
It's Australia, isn't it? You have too much freedom.
In a way, yes.
We send you what we call the thieves and the prisoners to Australia, and you made yourself another prison. You
I
remember?
always say to people that a lot of countries, they have a very strict regime, and so those are the chickens that are raised in the hen house, in the barn. You know, the barn chickens.
Yep.
But yes, we're the free range chickens here, and we don't realize that there's a fences around. So there's still a certain form of control, but in a way that we don't understand.
Yeah, I understand. This is the way you are, huh? It's amazing what the £10 has done to your nation. If you know the history of the £10 given to the British to go to Australia to start a life, to populate the island.
Yes, we are a very eclectic mix now. There's a lot of other people and a lot of immigrants and a lot of a good mixture. But
you're
gonna take
90%
time.
Chinese now, huh?
Well, there is a lot of a mixture, but the thing is, it's actually quite amazing that coming to Australia from South Africa, I found Australians extremely racist. So
You still got the same problem.
yes, they never acknowledged their racism. They've hidden it away and pretended it doesn't exist.
Crossing, swimming across the ocean did not make much difference, did it?
No, not at all.
Let's see what brings, what will come. As a friend of mine said, you know, we have a new island discovered by China.
Oh,
I said, yes, they call it just Australia now, isn't it? So you're just about there.
Our politicians are very confused because they don't know who to, you know, the master is on the one side of the planet, and the other master trying to knock on the economic doors on the other side of the planet, and they don't quite know where to go.
Doesn't take much to confuse politicians anyway. It's part of their life. I always said you can deal with diplomats, but you can never deal with politicians. Diplomats are permanent. Politicians are thugs off the street.
They've manhandled this whole corona story very badly. So
it came how much commission they got per mask. Apparently those who got the contracts for masks have made a lot of money. They became very good politicians. At the moment we see in the Ministry of Health of Iran, 660 people in the ministry are taking bribes or have contract for different things. And they don't want to change our status quo because they're making a lot of money out of it. I had one of the leading doctors online about 2 nights ago, and the research officer, what you call a scientist, and he was telling us that the cost of trying just to be 5 days in the hospital with corona is nearly equal to 1 year's salary of a teacher. They can't afford it. People are putting all their monies, pardon?
They don't actually.
This is why a number of hospitals now in Iran have turned back against the national health, the governments. This is what the whole thing has started in how much money they can make by masks, by antibiotics, by things which doesn't work. And they made it a compulsory. From trials we've seen, if you just disinfect the hospitals with guns, just wash the floors, just a simple wash, spray the infected area, you reduce the corona infection and you increase the support of living for your patients by 60%. Just pure washing. We see in Mexico, sorry, in Brazil, the Cleaners have started it before there, and we see it in Iran hospitals. Wherever we disinfect, the rate of success goes up by 60%. Because in a way, when you saw the fields take the whole room, it's not just what's on the floor. Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thanks, Mr. Keshe.
All the best. See you tomorrow morning, hopefully. As you know, Lisa is a member of the core, what we call the Earth Council of the Keshe Foundation. And the only woman who stays there all the time, calling all the men, come in, where are you? And nobody turns up sometimes. She's the only woman in the Earth Council and leading it. I told you, women are taking all over the Keshe Foundation. Thank you very much for all your work, Lisa. Any other question?
Yes, we have Dean with his hand up here. So to go ahead, Dean.
Thank you, Rick. Good afternoon, Mr. Keshe. Good morning. My question, Mr. Keshe, would be, you spoke about the cup of soul, the energy that's generated in that specific area. Could you explain that a bit more? How would we work with that energy? Is it purely on a soul level?
Make it, and then we talk about it. You got to understand, in the soul of the man, only energy exists as a plasma. And you have 3 nanomaterials. So there is no dimension of physicality. So you have to understand and expect what is to be created. I want you to watch and learn with this one. I'm not giving you a free run.
Okay, so you want us to make it first and then test it and see what happens and see how we feel.
See how you feel. How does it feel? How does it come to be?
Okay.
How would it react?
You obviously know the conditions that are going to be the realities and the conditions that are going to be available to the man, and so you're going to watch and observe what happens.
Of course I do. That's my job of an observer. Done that for thousands of years. So not interfering is important.
Okay, so the process we undertake ourselves and see how we get on. Yeah. Okay.
In a way, yes, because you're not supposed to understand it, you're supposed to see it. And it's the first time I have more or less forced you to move away from physicality to energy, to fields.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Sorry about that. Someone just interrupted me then. Sorry, I just missed the last little bit because someone spoke to me. Sorry.
That's it. Listen to the teaching.
I will do. Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. Thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you very much. Any other question? There are many of you from different languages, and there are many vacancies in the Universal Council and Universal Council support. If you see your soul strong enough to become a member of Universal Council, join the council. Many of the council members have been under pressure and disappointed or whatever, because there are certain people not giving the time to them to express their way. All these have changed in the Universal Council. Join in there and bring the change and be ready for the change. And Universal Council supporters. There are a number of vacancies in the totality, and there are a number of vacancies which needs to be fulfilled as part of the total construction of the humanity. And it needs to be, and it has to be completed. We have some 24 members at the moment, which cover more or less 60–70% of the world population spoken language. Any other question?
We have quite a few more questions in the Q&A. From Liliana from the Spanish community. She says you may be asked, what happens by connecting zinc nano and copper nano in a single cup?
Advise not to do. Not to do.
Okay, that's good. It seems like we have plenty of cups to work with already.
This is the only way we can get you safe home.
Safe home.
Our home and our target is reaching the soul of the Creator. There is one thing which you'll understand as we go through, is that life becomes eternal. There is no more fountain of youth, it's a fountain of life. Physical age can be changed in the snap of a finger, but what will be this purpose? If I would have walked the planet Earth in a physical dimension, you would have seen a shriveled skin dragging on the ground, as the age is beyond the comprehension of the man. Mankind can change itself and its physicality to a dimension of the physical appearance. So what you've been looking for eternal life, eternal youth, is in the hand of the man. But age brings maturity, not the look. Try to understand what is on the table, and try to understand how everything can be changed in a very simple way. Those of you who make these cups and thinking you will cheat the time, you'll find you see nothing in the cup, as you have cheated yourself out of it. Those of you who take these cups to serve, you'll find out you achieve more than you bargained for. So just understand. Just understand. That's all. Any other question?
You mentioned the creator, so we'll go to a question from Creed in the live stream, who asks, what place do expressions like Bill and Melinda Gates have in the light of the love of the Creator?
Do you think we'll give them a place?
I guess silence is the best answer for that one.
We don't have much to say to these people.
I guess part of the question might be, what do all kinds of expressions like that we humans consider to be evil or bad influence or that kind of thing. What place do all of that kind of activity, that kind of expression have in the big picture, in the totality? Why do we need this? Why does the creation need this, rather?
What do you mean?
Well, we have this, the light of the love of the Creator. If we consider that, and well, in that sense, where are all, there is no darkness in that viewpoint, I guess. So what is the position, or what's the point of having darkness? Is it just to show the light, that to have an accent for it?
You know, I was thinking about this last night and the night before. Driving late in the forests and the streets, we don't see anything. We put a light on. We need to have the full light and beam to see the road. And animals just walk around and see everything. I switch the light of the car off and see how much I see, and not much I see. And it brought me a beautiful understanding. Who is really blind and who is in real darkness? Do we need to have a torch to create a light, or a flashing light, or whatever to see as human beings? Where the animals very clearly live in that darkness, which is darkness to us, but position of life to them. The human race has misunderstood its own weakness. And in a way, who is really living in the dark? Is it our soul, or is it our physicality? Or have we chosen the soul of physicality to dictate to us what to do and what to accept? Comprehension of the truth will become the biggest problem for mankind, especially now that you go through the transition and elevation of the soul. As I said before, when you receive and elevate into the certain levels, and you see, let's say, the soul of a Billy, are you going to kick it, or are you going to elevate it? Or are you going to deny it? And as I said, parking the car in the jungle and seeing the deers and the foxes and the rabbits and the hare and the rest move along as nothing is happening. There's no darkness to them. Who really lives in the dark? Try it once. You bring some lot of truth. Any other question?
Azar, go ahead.
Mr. Keshe, I have one question that has nothing to do with Corona or today's teaching.
I can't hear her, can you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you can.
Okay, I have a question which has nothing to do with today's teaching and Corona.
So we are not answering. Carry on.
Okay, so
No, carry on.
I can ask it?
Yes, go on. Go ahead.
Okay, so in one of the teaching, 254, you talk about we talk about molecule and atom, and then nanocoding and the GANs and free plasma, and then you talk about the sheep, the skin of the sheep that is outside of it is the physicality, and then inside out is the soul of the man. And then when the soul encapsulates the physicality, you can travel the span of universe. My question is, why this analogy? And are you trying to say, if I make my skin inside out, is the soul encapsulating physicality? Is that the way?
No,
So
no.
what do you
It
explain?
was, I don't explain anything. If you haven't dealt with a sheep skin the way I have, I look at it a different way. When you look at it, the wool on the skin of a sheep, it looks like the rays of the sun. Each one radiates outward. And that's what it meant. I used to deal in one of my businesses in the sheep business, or what you call wool business. And when I look at it, it brings a lot of understanding of the reality of the existence. And that's what we said. When it's a skin, it's all one. You don't see anything. When you turn it the other way, you see a lot of rays. And at the same time, do the fields come from inside out and then become one? Because you can't say which hair is which end and which part of which position of the skin. That's what it meant. I know you've been asking this question, what's the sheep analogy? That's all it is. You look at each hair as one ray. Then you understand.
So when our soul encapsulate our physicality, it means it has to open from someplace. Where does it open?
From the soul. You have to understand a simple thing. There is no difference between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man and the physicality of the man. It only is strength dependent. It's the same ray. That's your problem. It's like having a car full tank at the beginning of leaving a city, and you drive to get to another town, and then you change, you check the oil is half full, and you check the other one is totally full. When empty. And then, in fact, at the time of the transition, when you started with a full tank till you stop with the empty tank, that's the point where you actually manifest yourself in a physical dimension. The rest of it is just a ray going through. And if you understand this, then you can understand more about the creation. It hasn't changed the car, it's just the energy in the tank has changed. You have less fuel.
Mr. Keshe, I noticed there is 2 points. Sometimes the pressure can build up and become very intense. One, right in middle of the third eye, the pressure.
I don't know these things. I don't know the third eye.
So what about
That's your belief.
pressure in the forehead and pressure in the back of the neck?
That's your dimensional line. How you create it.
So what are the signs that you know you on that direction?
You will know, it'll come to you, you will see it. This is the question a lot of knowledge seekers are asking. How do I know? I haven't seen it. Show me this. I cannot believe it's not mine. I don't know what to do. Where is my soul? Till I don't see something, I don't believe in it. So that's your problem. That shows two things. One is the lack of understanding of totality. Secondly, trusting oneself's existence. And then if you do the two, you'll walk. And this is exactly where what I call clergy has used the man to their benefit. As I said, what's the difference between the office worker and the clergy? One works in the office and that one works on your brain.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you. In a way, your brain, your emotion is their office. Any other question?
We have our Thomas.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Could I go back to your drawing where you showed the zinc cup, the copper cup? What I do not understand is you said something zinc 65% and copper 60.
No, it's the atomic mass or atomic weight or what we call plasma field strength of it.
I see. Thank you very much for answering.
We use scientific terminology because we say copper is 60 to 63. Zinc is on about 63 to 67, 68.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And then for energy mass, for the lighter ones, you take up to 50%, for the heavier one up to 20%.
One second question, if I may. If I can produce these cups and say it does not produce any guns.
Can we see what you get and talk next week about it?
Absolutely.
You will understand. You got to realize, don't look into the cup, look what the cup can do. And then secondly, the interaction of the fields of the cup, which counts with its atmospheric condition. We have chosen 3 parallel plates, but different positioning. And that positioning will create a lot of new ways, especially how big is this distance between the plate, or what do you call it, each element. How deep is your liquid? All this. There's a reason I taught this, and in the future, as you test and you come up with the answers, or what you see, then we teach you.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. This is the first time, as I said before, we are sending you a way to create fields, but you have to understand what those fields are. Humble enough, you receive. Arrogant enough, you give. Any other question?
Okay, I'm going to give you some quick ones from the Q&A here. Stephen asks, will the cup 3 help those that are suffering confusion or behavioral issues as you described as the 3rd phase?
You let me know.
Thought that was part of the reason that you were releasing Cup 3. But
Yes, but
we will see.
we will see. You see, you lot want to have everything chewed, swallowed, and just get the energy. Now, chew a little bit and swallow a little bit and see what you get from it.
Yeah. Okay. And Stephen now asked another question. Do we also collect the amino acids if produced by Cup of Soul?
If you like, why not?
Okay, these are quick ones. So Mendel asks, should we use Epsom salt to get more magnesium?
Oh, that depends on you.
Okay, Jeanette has a question from Ciro in Peru. How does Cup 3 create reversal of corona?
We'll see. You'll tell us. Why do you look for reversal? Why don't you look at inclusion? You know, you're all like your frightened chickens. You're looking at how to survive. I've given you the secret of life. When you have the secret of life, does not matter where you are, you know how to use it. When you don't understand it, every virus is deadly and dangerous. Any other question? I think today's teaching will bring those who understood, will bring you a massive change. And those of you who are still in entanglement of life, you will see not much with it.
Thomas asks a question, will the reproduction of animals be affected in the way you spoke of before, and of plants?
Yes, 100%.
So we can expect to see that in the coming weeks and months, perhaps.
Yep, shortage of harvest. If it goes that way, and increase and decrease in certain things, yes. It's inevitable. These are the things which has come with this. We cannot change it. Are we done? We are nearly 2 hours.
I think we should cut things
Call
off
it
here.
up.
You need to get some rest today, Mr.
No,
Keshe. You've been
I'm
doing
okay.
double, triple overtime.
No, we're okay. It's just that I think people are snookered with a lot of things. And we have to concentrate on what is ahead of us and what is to come. The enhancement units will be shown on the 2nd of August in one form or another. If we can do it, is our target. As the corona does not allow a lot of people to travel around the world, our target is to show the enhancement units if our team ready to be able to show it. At the same time, we will hope to have the Iranian ambassador and leaders of the nation present in this presentation. We will invite a number of ambassadors from different nations to be present, and hopefully we will invite the American ambassador to be present. We try to use the presentation of the two units will bring with it the position for government to understand the change, and will give us a chance to bring nations together. Our debate is how fast we can, because half of the Keshe Foundation work is getting things done and same time being able to transfer knowledge across to the other nations. And we see problems, we see huge problems with what is to come up. Nations getting hit back again with the second round will create another massive unemployment. And with this new technology and what is to come, we have to bring the rays of hope and knowledge, a new knowledge. If the old knowledge could handle the corona, we should not have been in this position as we are. And as we introduce new technology, as we introduce new knowledge, we should be able to guide and bring the process into close. As other people, as we told you, we were expecting to release the documents. The minister and his cronies, what they call the medical mafia of Iran, have blocked it to take a share. How can we give a share to you lot when it's already given to the whole nations around the world? And this is the whole process to change man from the greed. I always said, I want, I ask, and because I ask with absolute sincerity of what I see to be the elevation of my soul and those who I support, I receive. I've never asked for what I cannot have, because I assess before asking. And in so many ways, mankind has to go through the same path. Why am I using the cups? What am I asking? And what am I prepared to give for it to elevate it more? Then this is the problem. What we will see as changes will be very radical. But what we will see as changes will be breath of fresh air. But how do we use it? And how we, in a way, guide it that we don't make the mistake of the past. If we cannot bring the mentality of working is a gift. Working is what we call complement to be alive, to be physically present, and not a way to stay alive, then the whole ethos of the life changes. And this is what the whole purpose. And part of the purpose of these teachings, man has to have the right to life through new science and technology without working for it, without sacrificing his youth and his life for it. This will take a lot of time to understand. This will create a lot of mayhem. But we see now 50, 60 million Americans are home, no jobs. Nation still runs, except one guy, blondie in the office, he doesn't know where to go, like a headless chicken. The rest of the people are sitting at home. Why don't we see riots and breaking into shops and everything else in nowhere in the world, except in the United States? Because the true animals have not tamed yet. And in that essence, what does this technology can bring? What does this technology can bring forward? No need for food, no need for light, no need for heating, no need for anything, because you can literally supply your own energy out of a bucket. The whole process, the whole understanding. Now with the introduction of these new cups, it's very simple. If you all understand this, and if you all follow the way it has to work, none of you need to be fed. And I tell you, 99% of you will not see it. None of you will ever age. But you have to know how to trigger it. And that's the problem. Try to understand what a cup does than what you see in the cup. Those who tell us, I don't see, I don't understand, will do this, why it doesn't do that, please walk away from the foundation. Please switch the teaching off and never come back. But if you go there to see what it gives you in essence of creation and soul, stay around. Because it means you're ready to elevate. It means you're there to understand is not pen and pencil anymore. Any other question? Shall we call it a day?
There will always be more questions, Mr. Keshe. Perhaps, well, I think the hands are all down now. We did have Jalal with his hand up, but I see is down, so.
Where is Jalal? Can you bring Jalal up? Get him up. Give him access.
Yes, Mr. Keshe, I'm here.
Hi, Jalal. Hi.
Hi.
Jalal, have you managed to help the people?
This is why I opened my hand up. I have a request for the groups which help in coronavirus, that at least give the person who wanted to be helped a notice that someone will call him or someone will contact him.
What happened?
You know,
You shocked somebody.
yes, you know, here in Sweden, you can. This is all. Everything is private. You cannot enter their private life.
Yeah.
So I called the woman in the morning, and she have no idea about what I'm talking. I said, "Do you know Mr. Cash?" I said, "Do you know Cash Foundation?" Nothing. "Do you know the plasma?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "Okay."
Do you have corona?
Yes, and she said no. She's afraid. She's afraid. Here,
uh,
here in Europe, and especially in these times, there is a lot of cheating is going on. So many people call someone and said, your account number is different or something with the bank, with
uh,
all these things. So they are afraid to give any
yeah, no
personal
problem.
things.
Yeah,
So I
no
managed.
problem.
I managed to. She cannot speak Swedish. She cannot speak English. So I managed to find someone of my friends who speak Farsi. I connect to her and we speak spoken. It happens that her brother, he is in Iran and he knows about this technology, and he put her number to the group without telling her, and she have no idea about what is that. So at
Uh,
least this is my request for all these people: at least give the person who need help some in advanced knowledge that someone will call him or someone will bring him something.
but is she? What does she have? Corona or not?
uh, what I understand, it's not it is in the beginning of her chronos. She have little what do you call it?
Signs of it.
Yeah, signs of it. It's not really critical. I said, please. I give her my number, and I give her also the number of this translator. I said,
Yeah,
anytime you know that someone can help you, don't, before you go to the hospital, because if you go to the hospital, I cannot reach you there, because here
yeah,
you cannot reach anyone in the hospital.
yeah.
So
That's
she knows.
beautiful.
Mr.
Thank
Keshe,
you. Can you
Mr.
just wait, Azar? Can you please? Um, Jalal,
Yes, my friend.
thank you very much for your work. Thank you very much for all your support.
No need to thank
Uh,
me, Mr. Keshe.
uh, what is the situation in Norway with
uh,
Corona?
I don't know about Norway. I know about
I
Sweden.
was Sweden, sorry. What
Yes.
is the position?
The position here is they do not care about corona. They do not act as there is a corona. Only there is the government give them the choice to the people to act and interact with this situation as they like. Only the distance you need to let 1.5 meter, and that's all. You can live your life whatever it happened. And from the numbers, what I'm getting, because I have a lot of connection with the old peoples, there is a lot of old peoples died in that 6 months. It's a lot of them, really, really a lot of them. They kept them in that house, and they are no, they have they didn't have any care about in a way to clean everything, and everyone from these people which is ill, he will stay there. He will not go to the hospital because they know he will die. So everyone contagious the other in that houses.
In the old people's home, you mean?
Yes, yes, in the old people home.
Yeah, we had a report up to 700 people in Belgium a day. This is a huge number. All people who, the way the government see it is probably is less people to look after afterwards.
Yeah, and here from my knowledge, the people which coming from another countries, they suffer a lot with this virus, because when you come to this condition, you clear it, or one day one time in your teaching, if you come to a clean place, you will suffer also because you need to adjust to this place. So these people which catch corona, I mean, from the outside Swedish community, they will suffer a lot with that.
Jalal, this is Azar. I'm sorry about what happened, because the gentleman reached out to me and said a sister in Stockholm has corona and need help. And my understanding was that she already knows about this. And that's why.
Yes.
So, excuse me,
I,
Azar. Azar, no, wait. This request came through Iranian support team channel. It was posted there,
It
which
actually,
I sent you.
it came through personal request from, I mean, they found my name. It came two different direction to me. So I posted in two places, and Jalal was contacted because he was in Stockholm. But I had no idea that the woman had no idea about the Keshe Foundation, or the brother never told her that somebody is going to reach out to her.
Yeah, we understand this. This is for those of you who start setting up these channels of support. You have to understand that a lot of time is wasted, especially for those who are intensively involved, to go astray for just wasting time with it. But on the other hand, it's a brother wants the betterness of the sister, and they make these requests. And we do not make difference. We do not put difference between them or if it's real or not. But as the request comes, we respond. And at the moment in Iran, there are 4 groups running for these things. And the total number of people in these groups has exceeded 100,000. Somebody's microphone is open. And in this process, we receive in different lines we set up different ways of requests, and we do not put or make a difference between them. We have to respond, we respond, and then, but wasting time is colossally expensive for us, especially with our volunteers. We have 66 volunteers across Iran who are non-stop there to deliver, to support. In one of the chat rooms, it's 46,000 people. And at this moment, there's 2,355 online getting support. These 2,355, most probably, let's say 50% have coronas. That's a lot of lives. And we see this as part of it. There's another group, 25,000. And at the moment, 679 people are online. And when we look at the total Keshe Foundation team in Iran, they are dedicated people. We do not look at the borders. If you're an American in America reaching the Keshe Foundation in Iran, we reach support. We give support. On the Keshe Foundation original channel, now at 20,000 plus, there are 1,456 people. If you look at it, there are 5,000 people at the moment receiving support. These people, once they get help, once they learn how to make the cups, how to use the system, they don't come back unless they need to. And we see it very active. Between the only time of quietness we see is around about 2 o'clock in the morning till 5, which drops to several hundred on each channel. During the day, it goes up to 10,000 people online because they're sick. They're coming on to learn to save their lives. And at the same time, trying to support 66 people, a nation, is tiresome. And they're there for 5 months non-stop. They're producing gases, they're producing cups. They just go out and give it and change it. If you make attempts in any other countries and even in Iran to inform us, make sure the job is done properly. Because we just don't put it on the carpet and let it be. And this takes a lot of energy from us. And I've seen it in a few cases, very few cases, and usually comes out of panic, trying to maybe forgetting to inform the other side, or people who just are there to create problem for themselves. I would like to thank the Iranian support team relentlessly, especially our doctors. As I said, Dr. Asadi has closed his clinic again, more or less, back in supporting because there's too many of them. Same with Dr. Barapur and other doctors in the background who support. If we could repeat the structure we set up in Iran, right across Brazil, European community, and the infected countries like United States, we can curtail a lot of things. The reason we cannot do so much in Iran is because the Minister of Health has asked for bribe, has asked through his contacts and ways to put pressure on the Keshe Foundation. We do not accept pressure. But if we get this through, a change of minister, a change of the president, that the nation is not taken to ransom by their private bank account in the United States, and we go on the television, we should have no deaths in Iran within the next 7 days. But we are losing people because we have the greedy people sitting in the offices of the health ministry. I'm very open. Don't ever challenge me. I don't stand challenges because I try to stay correct. I don't need to be challenged. And the thing is, we're losing. How many people we lost yesterday to Corona? Those are deaths on the hand of the Minister of Health and the President of Iran, because he has given the room to steal and kill. And if we carry this right across America, we get it to Brazil, that it goes national television, people would not die. It become another disease in a week, 2 weeks' time. We need to bring this into public. We've seen the Brazilian team continuously started with the small interviews everywhere. Americans are scared of going out because it's Keshe Foundation, and people have listened to the thieves of Baghdad in Belgium, the king and his cronies. We don't put differences between nations, but we put difference between thugs and ordinary people. Just don't waste the time of the supporters in Iran. And if you do out of fear for your family, inform them. Tell them such thing coming. We even have it in Iran. People just call, but they don't tell them. People turn up. They say it's nothing to do for us. Any other questions? I'll call it a day.
Well, like I said, Mr. Keshe, the questions are lined up. It's just a matter of the hours are lined up.
Well, what question you have? Give us 2 or 3.
Okay. Well, there's Ike who's had his hand up here.
Do we have any IQ left?
It's a good question.
Come on, let's
Ike?
see. What's a Ike? Could you please?
Ike, what do you have there? Can you open your microphone?
Ike, did you manage to get that to the people on the radio station?
He's not opening his microphone, so he's having some trouble at that end, I guess.
Yeah, apparently in California there's a big problem with internet.
Oh.
Yeah, has been. We were trying to yesterday to contact with Armin and our team there. It's very difficult. They couldn't even come on Zoom. The thing is, a lot of people are locked down, and even the engineers and hardware is running out in some places. We've been told in some nations. So we're going to start seeing these disruptions if it goes further. Okay, California is hit bad. Sorry, California looks like they have a problem in their internet somewhat. Eric Vanover. Vanover is a Belgian name. Hello?
Yes, sir. It's Dutch, I believe.
Dutch, yeah. Are you from Holland? Or from
no, absolutely not. Not for hundreds of years.
Yes. Oh, so you're a line of descendants.
I'm a Kentuckian.
Kentuckian. Well, you're Vanover.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem.
I've been having trouble trying to get people. I've been following you since you've been on, since before you were on Rick's original show, and I've been having trouble trying to teach other people. I mean, I've taught other people. I get some people that are interested, but is there a way you've I mean, I know you've like proved it and showed, you know, how did you convince people about plasma, and how can I do it? I mean, I've done the Ganses, I've done.
You see, let me explain to you something very easy. Till 2012, we had an interview with a station this week, and we start opening people's eyes to it. If you go till 2012, Keshe Foundation was well covered by what you call media, magazines, articles on a frequent basis were appearing everywhere about the foundation. And we were gathering momentum in a very good way. From summer of 2012, when the King of Belgium wanted the technology and we didn't give it to him, everything was taken off. Even Wikipedia of the Keshe Foundation has been deleted. What their idea was, they told us, we wipe you off the internet, you will not exist. That's the dream of a criminal King of Belgium, the present King of Belgium. And what we see, you have to understand the process. The King of Belgium brought this to get the hands on the technology, and they use Dirk to do the dirty work for them.
Yeah, I've been following you since. I've been following you since you ran to Italy.
Yeah, but what is the problem is, once we hit the media back again, people will run with it, because especially the American mentality, if it's on the internet, don't believe much, but if it's on the television, yes, it's the God, it's the new temple.
True.
And this is what we were told by the Belgians in 2012. We wipe you out of internet, you will not exist till we get it. I was told in a meeting with the head of what we call nuclear control of Belgium, which is they set up what they call tribunal, that I was carrying nuclear material, which was legal according to European law, and they wanted to make it illegal. He told me, it's recorded, leave our nation if you don't give us the technology. And we kill you. This is recorded. And so the decision was made by them and their bosses to create such a position. Mr. Delannoy is a pedophile, but he sits at the head of the security of the Belgium. And they went to the banks, they closed bank accounts of Keshe Foundation on terrorism, or we closed the bank. We have all this done. We don't care anymore, because the knowledge now is in the hand of the most peaceful nation of Iran. And I put a lot of effort on it. And in time, once we get rid of these, what we call cronies in the Ministry of Health, that it gets ratified, hopefully within the next few days, that the paper gets published with a 95% plus success, world will listen. My biggest concern at the moment is, how are we going to respond to this? Do we have enough knowledge seekers who can, in each country, to teach theirs, or do they see themselves as a golden time to show themselves? And this is my biggest. Have we taught enough to people to be humble enough, or do we breed another bunch of arrogance? We've seen it before. And so people come to you, don't worry, the time for it is there. As I said, we have established lines in the United States to be able to bring it out. But the whole thing is, as Amanpour said, once it gets on CNN, the world will run.
Congratulations on you got the pedophiles on the run around the world, and congratulations on that.
We still got plenty of them running for themselves, but yes, as we said, we are waiting for authorization from the Office of Islamic Science of Khamenei of Iran for release of what we expect to be the next steps after what we call peace talks. And with that, we'll break through the United States and the rest of the world. It had to come. Technology against peace was offered by Keshe Foundation. Now we have that with the support of Iran. Iranian-grown national technology against peace worldwide, not just the Americans. And then we'll see what we're looking for. I've received what I call the good news. I'm just waiting for them to be ratified, completed, and will be released. We use the veteran as a point to declare our position, as we did before. If you notice, the last veteran article is a joint article for the first time between Gordon and MT Keshe. We announce and pronounce our way, and we support the way we work through it. And in that way, we try to put animosities away, and in that way, we'll establish a lot of good things. But as they say, they took us off the internet, they took us off everything, they destroyed our servers, everything possible. But we grew more and more, because the beauty of the present technology is free, and you can join it anywhere. This is what they did not calculate. They still lived in time of colonization. They thought they can do something. Our biggest problem is my problem. I've been looking at this for past 2 months. How can we set up a structure like Iran across the planet? Iran's system is absolutely perfect. We'll have more people there, more people in the background supporting. And how can we do that with America? Or we go on the televisions day and night, teach people how to make it, and make the channels that people come. It'll benefit the television and radio channels, because they have a live people coming in for support, and they can sell advertising time. And if that's their promise, if they want to do that. But just wait. As I said, we back Kamala Harris as a vice president to be the next president of the United States. And we have established lines of communication, and we'll go through. The way it has to be done, we have to be very impartial. We still have left the door open to the American administration. They still have time to come. But if we go through the candidate and the rest of it, they lost, because the president has kept the information away from his nation to save it for personal and son-in-law favor. And as I said, just give it time. Just give it time. We're just about to do it. It was beautiful. When we released the first article, we sent a copy to the Iranian government. They wanted, I said, it has to be on the terms that we accept Israel to be part of the negotiation. And the text is more or less has to be done by them, and we release it. It'll be an olive of peace from the world's most strongest scientific nation in the space and nanotechnology. And let's see how the rest will play. There's a lot of good news coming up. And as I said always, it had to finish before you start. And it has started, just a little bit left to complete it. And then we thank you very much for your support. And hopefully, we will be able to do a lot. Any other question?
We have Stefania with her hand up if you want to take on another question.
With the Safania, you got to take the whole nation. Forget about the question.
That's why I'm offering it first before I allow her to speak.
Let's deal with the whole nation of Italy. Let's see what comes up.
Okay. Oops, what happened there? Got the wrong one. There we go.
Hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
Good afternoon, Italy.
Yeah, my question was regarding to what you said before about the many people losing jobs all around the world, and many people are sitting down in their houses with many skills. And last Tuesday, we talked about this as well, and I would like to know more about, because Emmanuel said something interesting. He says, you mentioned it just now about this, about that the Keshe Foundation can actually has already prepared some plan that if the government accept, you can offer jobs to many people who are now without jobs. And
No.
I'm wrong.
Very wrong. Very wrong. Very wrong.
I'm sorry. This is what I understood.
New, oh, it's Italian, you know, it's just a little bit of more spaghetti will make it better. What you got to do? What we're saying, the new technology will bring new jobs. Because the new research and new developments, everything else, now you cannot sell to, what do you call it, force governments, but in a way nations will go for new ways.
Yeah.
So the problem is a lot of people have lost their jobs, shopkeepers, small factories. Big corporations are financed by in a way you have no option because all the old has failed. The creation of new jobs comes out of the new technologies across the world. We are there to deliver more and more technologies. Any other question?
Well, we still have a couple of hands up, but
let's answer these two couple of hands and we go. We called it.
Okay, well, one of them is Ike. I'm not sure if you're able to talk now, Ike. You can try your microphone. It doesn't seem to be working. Okay, well, I'm gonna lower his hand. And Azar has her hand up as well.
Again?
Mr.
Yes.
Keshe, talking about Iran, and if we can bring the same situation in the United States and rest of the European countries or other countries, I think if you notice, there's a huge difference between what's going on in Iran and the mentality of people in here, because in here, I've been trying very hard.
Yes, because you have no backing.
Because you know what happened? I brought a woman.
Let me explain. The situation in Iran, when it's repeated, has to be backed by the government. With the support of the Keshe Foundation. You're totally the other way around of the talk. Who you talk to doesn't count. We don't call and talk about who you know you invited or they came to your place or whatever. the whole thing is that we look at the breakthrough to governments, that it becomes a national job. And it becomes important for us to establish Islam. We are doing it now on the very controlled way with number of governments. And they're all ready to go. They're just waiting for this report to be established, to be published, that they can have. And in that process, we need to establish a link between the governments, that individuals don't count. Knowledge seekers who understand the technology are there to go on the national televisions, radios, or whatever to teach. And don't become what I call, the minute they got exposure, they think they're God. That's all it needs to be done. We 3 weeks now battling with these bunch of thugs in Iran Health Ministry. And it has to be sorted. We hope that Ayatollah Khamenei has managed to curb these, what are called terrorists and mafias in the Ministry of Health, that everything else is gone. Minister of Health of Iran individually is responsible for this, because it's their own hospitals which are using it. Deny access to proven technology by the Iranians, by the Iranian government, is a criminal offense. The thing is, if it was not working, why do they want 50% of the shares? Because they know it already is working. They have offered $1.5 million bribe to our people. You don't offer a bribe if you don't have it in your hand. We'll see how it will go, and then it'll become a national teaching. And it'll be very good, because people will start learning about the plasma and the new science together. If I could release names and communications, you see how correct they are. In so many ways, I would like to have a message sent to someone very direct, and this is on your response, because I know you're listening, otherwise you will not make such a move, especially for organization like this. They see the new technology as a danger into their life. The message comes from the Rothschild. My foundation does not need to meet your grandmaster. In your message it says, could I have your phone number, brother, so you could easily communicate with the grandmaster. Keshe Foundation speaks to Rothschild's family and the grandmasters on one basis. This is the third time you're trying to establish link with us in a simple way, Mr. Rothschild. We accept talking with you on the grounds that the present position you have taken worldwide has to cease. And we meet on the ground that works on the benefit of humanity, not on thuggery and stealing from humanity. And if you're a spokesman for your family or empire of your family, and you live in California, please contact me direct. We can always talk face to face with your masters. And let's see how we can sort out this mess you and your family has created. Thank you very much. And let's see if we can talk on direct basis. And we'll talk with your grandmaster and see how things will go. Unless a fake name and telephone number and everything else has been used, which is very unusual for people to play these games. I would like to read you the text sent to us. It's very interesting, I think. This is will fulfill. While many of our operations require anonymity to protect members, it is best that we provide understanding between us and the people we are charged with protecting. And are recruiting members. And it is interesting that, as I said to you, we have created problems for those who think they can protect humanity. And in his communication rates, our team asked him, what level are you in this organization? His answer is, an active member of first order of the organization. We are an elite and selected organization of people from all walks of life, including politicians, businessmen, artists, singers, etc. Our organization unites background people to live a prosperous life by bringing people together and working for what they call the path of the right mortality, they desire or deserve. And this time, as the contact is so direct by the Rothschild family, we answered you direct. The only person in Keshe Foundation decides communication with Rothschild family is speaking to you. Then the Keshe Foundation management team will talk to you. You can reach me directly instead of going through the back doors. And Mr. Rothschild Meyer, speak to us, we talk, because we can care everything your descendants have built on in the stroke of a pen. And if you ask your, what you call grandmasters, they know how grand I am in serving it out. Thank you very much for today. And we have all the children and all the world leaders together one day to celebrate the freedom of the man from the position of physicality. Thank you very much, Rick.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Yet another Knowledge Seekers Workshop. This has been the 337th Knowledge Seekers Workshop on Thursday, July 16th, 2020. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, and thank you to all of our people that have asked questions and those who have participated in today's workshop, and to all those that will listen in the years to come.
Excuse me, Stanley and Rick, can we have a quick Zoom chat after this, please?
Okay.
Yep, thank you very much.
Okay, so we have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace coming up on Tuesday of next week at the usual time of 4 p.m. Central European Time. And we have the
Soul meeting.
soul meeting in the private teachings, you mean, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, on Mondays.
Okay, yes. So people can enroll in the private teachings of the Keshe Foundation. It's one more week, I believe, and then there'll be a break. And it resumes in September, I think it is. We'll give more details on that next week. Any other announcements?
Nope.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and bye for this time. See you next time around.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate.